Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of World End Economica. My name is Fuds, and now we can help lots of people. Haru muttered that comment while looking at the register Lisa made of names and how much money was given. Even I, when looking at what a deplorable state Chris was in, thought it wasn't bad to help someone else make money. However, when someone came by with some money, a little part of me felt a little bit more nervous. It was because large amounts of money made it harder to perform quick trades. With 70,000 moors, it was possible to dump all of it into a single one on any number of stocks right away. With 200,000 moors, the options were more limited. If it weren't a large construction firm, bank or insurance firm, or an infrastructure firm, then just our own trades would move the prices. Therefore, we didn't have to break with 200,000 moors into 3 or 4 parts, and invest into many more stocks than we'd been doing so before. Theoretically, that would work, but would it really be fine in the end? I was apprehensive, but then again, these were groundless fears. I had room to breathe, but I didn't have to do so. If I didn't have to do something unnecessary like pause and scrutinise every stock, then there certainly was breathing room for me. Furthermore, Haru's program had been improving day by day, and I started being able to just simply trust it from the get-go. In other words, I started simply taking what the program spat out at face value, and using it to lay on the trades. Well, that's trouble. Just like before, I partnered up with Haru. I swapped between dizzying screens, not pausing to take a breath while camped out the computer, and increasing my profits endlessly. The gears were all properly greased and turning fine. The profits kept expanding, and the number of people who came to entrust us with their money kept increasing. Including our profits, our war chest shot past 500,000 moors, with my share at 180, including compensation. However, something had to be sacrificed. At 200, my head was spinning. When we hit 500, I had to relegate the virtual market to second priority. I'm sure Barton was looking at this, but he should understand once I talked about the trades I was doing on the real market. Barton would probably be more interested in trades on the real market than the virtual one, and if I could show off my performance here, he should understand. And thus on the investment contest front, we had a standstill around the time we broke 150 million moors. However, a thorn on my side was that I gradually started losing enjoyment of the profits of the real market. Perhaps my senses had become numbed. Or perhaps the energy involved in trading had not only tired me out physically, but mentally as well. After all, it was 8 hours of continuous trading that didn't allow me any mistakes or playing around. It was no longer a game, obviously. Right now, we'd received money from more than 10 people, and the fates of 20 to 30 people rested on us. And furthermore, many of those people would be the type where a profit would finally let them buy a pair of shoes or some new clothes. Amongst them were obviously many kids Chris's age and some of Haru's students. You couldn't even force me to say that it had gone boring because it was no longer thrilling due to a lack of gambling involved. I couldn't make recreational gambling trades, my head was stuffy, and I felt sick to my stomach. Once afternoon trading ended, I didn't feel like doing anything. Because of how Haru's program worked, there was no real reason to follow the market news, and I'd run out of things to do. But I also didn't just like staring off into blank space, so I ran away into Saro's place. You've certainly come by a lot recently. While staring off the old film from Earth, a partition door opened with Saro's face peeking inside. The Godfather? You sure have some strange tastes. So, what do you want? Well, it's not that I had something particular in mind to talk about, but here. Saro handed me a can of soda. Before accepting it, I asked sharply, "What have discussed extra?" "It's on the house, you bozo." "In that case, I'll take it." I accepted the soda and opened it with a ksh sound. I guess you like those films from Earth, eh? Not to mention they're all mafia films or war films. It's not too moody, with chicks won't dig that. Oh, shut up. I sipped and returned my gaze to a movie. It was a scene where some henchman missing a few brain cells decided to go undercover into the enemy territory and got killed instantly. Oh, spoilers. What did that guy think the enemy wasn't going to suspect him? Be like me and watch more romantic stuff. Didn't I think you watched this porn? What'd you say? And then after intention looking furtively left and right, came forward to whisper into my ear. I got some nice stuff featuring some girl who looks like Vagana, you know. Thinking I'd be plus of a comment, he swung his eyes over and glanced at me. Wait, can't you react a bit more? You monkey. Yeah, but let's talk about those types of films. Wanting with more explosions and metal against metal be more fitting for youngsters? I decided to ignore him. I like Mafia and war films because I understood how they operated. And besides, it wasn't saying where a lone hero could solve all his problems. The characters were connected by thick threads that you could almost reach out and touch, and they were pulled by those strings as if they were puppets dancing on the screen. There's something in the stock market quite like it. The players of the stock market also had clear principles and behaviour. Just one person wasn't enough to do anything significant. I liked imagining and watching such scenarios unfold with people reaching for their clear goals. The Mafia were an army of squad, making decisions so logically they were illogical for the sake of their pride and friends and made me tremble with excitement. There were basically no sudden surprise developments. Even if there was one, it would just be the first plank that puts the gears into plot and motion. On the stock market, it was like hearing some unexpected news. And once that story hit, the game was on to see who'd win and who'd lose. Totally boring. So I put it in one line while I was watching a film, pondering quietly to myself. Oh, grow up. I'm taking good care of my youthfulness here. Because Earth dogs are well known for having more complex than a blowy dumb of Earth, am I right? Gravity is love, you know. Having said so, he gave up and went back to the counter. I returned my gaze to the screen, but he suddenly stopped, poking his big head back into the booth. Oh yeah, there's rumours about you two, you know. There are many ways to decipher such an ambiguous statement. However, I did look back at Saru because his tone was awfully serious. Huh? About you and Hagana? What, are you gossiping about the gossiping grade schooler? I told him in a fed-up tone. He was dumbstruck at first, then smiled wryly. No, I don't mean that. Then, what do you mean? I heard that you've been collecting people's money to use. That line felt like a spark that triggered a war between rival Mafia factions. What about it? Does Lisa know? Of course. I shifted my gaze back to the screen. Rumours. Had people really been talking about us? Wait, Lisa really knows? Probes, man, yes, and plus, originally I didn't feel like using other people's money, but I did it first for Lisa. Huh? So his eyes shut wide open and he leaned forward with his big head. Lisa owed people money? You up too close, yeah, didn't you know? I didn't. Just the value of a book and borrowed it from university, at a debt of 50,000 moors. I was out of options. I've noticed he's holding a PSP. Oh. So slapped his hands on his giant head. If she had told me, then you'd be about to pay me, I'll pay it off. After he asked, the was about to say something, then kept his mouth shut. He was probably trying to put on some meaningless show of vanity. Man, so that was the case. But that program I made for Ghana, you're making money with that? Plus my investment prowess. Well, let's put that aside. What, you doubting me? Don't get mad. The emails to Ghana wrote were full of Hal said this and Hal said that, so there's no way I'd doubt you. That revelation totally caught me off guard. Well, that aside, what I'm trying to say is that you should be careful. People also know you swing by these parts, you know. You could be tough physically, but that might not work against some of these dangerous people out there. What, like hackers? There's also that, and anyway, it'd be a good idea to keep quiet about collecting up that money. This is a moon after all. Well, I won't mind if you think of this as just some nosy guy's advice. It was so serious, I was at a loss for words. Oh, okay. You don't know what's going to happen in the world. It wouldn't hurt a bit to be careful. After saying that last line, he slapped me lightly on the shoulder and went back to the counter. Fair enough. I don't want to get robbed. Certainly, letting people around you know you've been working for money was vectored with no merit whatsoever. However, I couldn't just return money at this point, and the people who gave me money were really into deep trouble financially. I had to do it, and if I didn't, it was obvious what terrible things would happen. I went back to watching the film. I had no choice but to move forward, like I had to follow some mafia bylaw. 10 minutes later, I was totally absorbed in the film and forgot about Saro's words. After I finished watching, I returned to a church. Despite going into Saro's store and sleeping early, my fatigue built up steadily day by day. I had no idea what was wrong. All I knew was that whenever I thought about trading, I'd feel lethargic and depressed. Perhaps the number of stocks I had to trade in order to retain the same level of performance with increased funds was a bit too much. Or perhaps I was feeling a burden having people's fates placed upon me, more so than I had anticipated. After finishing morning trading, I was slumped over a table, having left unfinished with lunch Lisa prepared for me before she headed out for a Chinese restaurant. "Are you alright?" Hagano said that to me during the break. She wasn't used to saying things like that, and thus her voice was faltering. "I dunno. Let me rest." Even when I closed my eyes, trading screens flickered in my vision. There was a dull pain in my head. I thought that maybe it was a cold, but it didn't feel like that. Besides a cold, there were other things I could be suffering from. Before now, no matter how tired I got from trading, all I needed was a good night's rest before I was ready and pumped for more action. However, that stopped being the case. Now when I wake up, I feel annoyed that I have to trade again today. Perhaps it was a reaction to having made too much money, something I hadn't done for a while. Perhaps it was something similar to the initial euphoria and eventual boredom one would get by cheating in a video game. If so, then it was simply a lifestyle disease in my mind. If I continued to pile on the profits, not only would I be able to save up a lot of people, I'd also be able to go to fantastic places. Trading too much? At that point, Hagano again talked to me. I looked up because her words piqued my interest. And if it was too much, what would you do? My wording came off as irritated, but because there was nothing that could be done with all these funds without carefully marking lots of trades, I have an idea. I reacted so much I was surprised even myself. Not only did I look up, my body got up as well. Hagano was sitting on a chair staring this way. What? We could just automate the trading for an investment contest. I stared at Hagano's face. It was a simple and ridiculously clear solution. When I talked to Savo, he took what we already have and extended it and quickly made a new program. Backtesting showed that while it couldn't really touch you, it was making clear gains. Hagano opened the program on her terminal and showed me the test results. I squinted at the numbers and frowned with a dull headache. The displayed numbers had pluses and minuses flying around everywhere. The system wasn't able to read the mood of the market, like me. There were big losses and the total performance was only a third of mine. Despite that, the fully automated program was clearly making gains. How? Right now you look really bad. When I lifted my face up from the terminal, Hagano was staring at me emotionlessly. I didn't need words to know that a poker face had actual worry for me. Performance dropped, but with this, you could concentrate on the real market. Hagano's eyes were serious. Even if I relegated the investment contest a second, I still couldn't totally leave it alone. Now I felt like the contest and the real market were starting to not be compatible with each other. And thus, if something had to be cut, Hagano would certainly decide on the contest. This insightful observation was certainly plausible, but Hagano's eyes said she was truly worried about me. However, I couldn't help but lower my eyes in response to that suggestion. An investment program to replace me? One reason I pondered over that was because the performance would degrade. If Barton were looking at a trading history, there was a possibility he'd give up on me. However, the biggest reason was something much more clear. I was not needed. And with that realisation, I felt a chill in the pit of my stomach. I finally saw the pit trap in front of me that I'd totally not noticed at all. The performance could be improved with some work. However, Hal, Lisa's also worried about you, so don't need it. I could have forgotten his own words and replied, "Don't need it, I'll handle both." Hagano was about to say something. However, I quickly interrupted her with my words. Mr. Trush, in first place, has made a ridiculous amount of money. With his program, we wouldn't be able to catch up. It was seemingly sound reasoning, and it was the truth. However, the real reason was different. Besides, I wasn't trying to deny that. I was putting the contest on a back burner, and thus I was concerned about one thing. Increase performance? If there was anyone who could do it, Hagano could. Her program had steadily been getting better. However, I couldn't improve at the same speed as the program. One day it would catch up to me, and when that time came, what would I do? Why don't you go and find some easier stocks to profit off or something? Yeah, concentrate on increasing the volatility. Yeah, I extract gains from that. Wasn't that the original division of labour? Hagano's brows bent, showing a bit of pain in her part. I couldn't tell if she was being worried about me or not. What I did understand was that I'd somehow found myself in a bad situation. What if Hagano's program were to fully be able to copy everything I could do and become fully automated? Right now, my processing power was limited, as I was just a human being. What I had at first joked about started feeling more realistic. In fact, there was a possibility that her program would surpass me. When that time came, how much value would I have to Barton? And how much would I be worth to Hagana? Furthermore, I couldn't just reject cooperation from Hagana at this point. Chris's family couldn't pay off her debts right now. I couldn't push her away, and thus, my choices were limited. I'll continue to do my best until the end of a contest. There are 2 weeks remaining in the contest. There's nothing that couldn't be endured, there's nothing that couldn't be faked over. Facing Hagana who was hesitating on agreeing, I made my move ignoring the moral implications. So please, lend me a hand. Hagana shrugged nervously, then nodded strongly. She didn't appear to be Hagana who thought she could do anything. By now, we had collected lots of money, and whether or not most people could pay off their debts vested with us. What I had said to her was the ultimate move. However, it was ironic. The more I relied on Hagana's help, the more my power waned. Being unable to smile when making heaps of money, I finally realised where my fatigue had come from. What I was doing now was nothing different from mere work. I stopped getting up early to read the news, stopped staring at the stock after trading. I wasn't using the program to make money. It was painful because I'd simply been relegated into a program's ultimate component. However, even if that were the case, I had to continue this way. Furthermore, I had to protect my standing. Before managing to secure a top spot in a contest and handing over to Schrödinger Street, I had to think of it as doing myself trading. Alright, afternoon trading's about to start. I made my short proclamation and handed the terminal back to Hagana. I was about to start another round of simple work. I had to endure it. And I had to hide my true feelings from Hagana. The investment contest entered the final stretch, and Mr. Trush must have used some sort of rocket fuel to send his numbers soaring into 92 million. There was no longer any doubt that he was putting his leverage into it full tilt via margin trading. I believed it would be absurd to be able to put out this level of performance without using margin trading. Besides, the contest has entered a final stretch with everyone starting to engage in massive speculation, and the stock price movements became more chaotic. One after another, people started making lots of profit. Even I had reached the 55 million more mark, but that was only 5th place. Before, I'd only been doing a little bit of margin trading here and there, but now I'd removed the safeties and was using them constantly to a full extent. This was supposed to be bumping my leverage, but I felt unresponsive in front of a computer. This wasn't a matter of performance, but rather my spirits. The more money we made, the more Hagana became absorbed in the formulas. The more she became absorbed in the formulas, the more the program improved. And thus, it started to show more and more how there was no longer a place for me. These past days, I started not being able to tell whether or not the stock was good stock or bad stock from a list. I could figure out whether something was half bad, and I could figure out whether or not I liked a stock. However, I couldn't figure out anything beyond that. It felt like the veil was thrown over my eyes. You stop paying attention, that's the problem. What if Barton was looking at the trading records? There hadn't been any correspondence from him since then, so perhaps he'd given up on a boring fellow like me after seeing the results. It's because Barton had called me out to me after looking at the initial big gambles I'd made. He probably had no interest in a 5th place person like me, who could only pick up loose change from here and there. It was said that Mr. Trosh was a super elite, who graduated from Harvard with an MBA, and being formally offered employment with Platina Smith. Why would someone be able to retain interest in me when there was something like that out there? However, there was no mistake that what we'd accomplished was helping a lot of people. It wasn't just those people who burdened with loans that I was talking about. Hagana gained confidence from our success and started looking more like a real human being. She had mellowed out unbelievably since we met, and she even sometimes became bashful. Lisa was happy about that above all else. On the other hand, I felt something heavy gradually building up in my gut. I'd act out, nearly venting from time to time, but Lisa supported me, saying it was because I was worn out from trading. However, I knew that wasn't the reason. In order to not have any position taken over by Hagana's program, I had to be desperate. I couldn't express what I was doing was irreplaceable except through my attitude and actions. I was afraid that Hagana would seriously start working on the automated program if I didn't do that. Starting around then, I started waking up in the middle of the night with a nightmare. In it, with each answer I gave to Hagana, my body started changing more and more into formulas. Like a jigsaw puzzle not fitting together, my body would collapse into a pile of Greek letters. I'd frantically tried to collect them, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't turn them back into my original body. During times like breakfast, Hagana was unbelievably courteous and handed me a spoon of sugar. However, I was starting to believe that it was some sort of intentional harassment, no matter how ridiculous it sounded. Like when I was about to cry from being driven to a limit, I received an email from Barton. "Made some time, could we meet? Sorry, if we could start in the morning, that'd be great." The important date was a normal working day. Going out during trade week was outrageous. There were days before I teamed up with Hagana where I stopped trading and staring into space. On rainy days, for example. Clinging to his email, as a last ray of hope, I replied, "We could meet." The response came back quickly and expected. They pointed out the Royal Central Hotel, where we met before. When I told Hagana I was about to leave mid-morning on our trading day, she was more confused and shocked. And you can find out why next episode. Well, as ever, thank you very much for watching. My name has been Fuds. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.